Day 10 of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. This week we're focusing on the word consecration. And I want to bring us to John chapter 15 and verse 2. The Bible, Jesus says, "Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, my Father cuts it. But every branch that bears fruit, my Father prunes it so it bear much fruit." We all know what the word pruning means: cutting off the unnecessary to allow a branch to yield much more fruit. And that's the idea that God wants to prune our lives. Now, the word pruning itself appears only once in the New Testament, but it comes from the same root word katharos, which means to clean and purify. And that in itself appears in the New Testament 27 times. So the idea is there that God is in the process of cleaning us, purifying us so that we bear much more fruit. But he says every branch that bears fruit. In other words, you are bearing fruit because you're seeking God, you're loving Jesus, you're pressing in, you want to know him. So there's fruit that is being had in your life because you're pressing in. But he says, I want to prune you more so you can bear much more fruit. And what I understand by that really for me is the areas that we struggle in, that even though we love Jesus, there's still some things in our lives that raises their ugly head. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's rage, maybe it's control, maybe it's selfishness, self-centeredness. Maybe you got to have things done your way. Maybe it's lack of generosity. Maybe it's lust. Maybe it is all these things. Maybe it's impatience. Like I struggle with that seriously. I mean, just this week I go to the grocery store and you know how it says to self-check out yourself, you got to have 15 items or less. And I look in my cart and I literally count and I have 17. So I said to myself, I'm not going to break in rules. So I stay in the line. But 2 minutes later, I'm like, I forget all that. And I say to myself, I'm going to go self-check myself out. So I did. I self-checked myself out because I was impatient and I didn't even realize what I just done in that moment. It wasn't until I got in the car and I realized, guess what? I may have saved a few minutes, but I failed something because I wasn't patient. So it's in those areas that we come to God and say, Lord, I want to bear much more fruit, but you look into my heart. So as you are fasting this week, I need you to pray, Lord, what areas in my life that you need to prune, you need to cut off, you need to help me so that I can bear much more fruit. God knows you individually, so you come to God and say, God, I'd like to bear much fruit for you this year, but Lord, just come and have your way and cut and prune so I can bear much fruit for you.